You won't believe what happened at the airport today. Dave thinks I was at fault. I'm not so sure. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I was trying to catch my first human aeroplane flight and things were confusing enough as it is. Anyway, I used flawless, dictionary-perfect Earth English at the airport today, and a human still punished me by assigning me a seat right next to the lavatory. Why? Because I fell into two massive traps that non-native speakers hit every day. I ignored the unspoken laws of softening phrases, and I completely botched an uncountable noun. Today, my human guide Dave and I will decode these airport mysteries so you never get trapped in the bathroom seat again.
Just let me do the talking, Nova. Airport staff are extremely stressed.
Nonsense, Dave. My English is optimal. Give me a window seat. Now, I require visual access to the atmosphere.
Excuse me? That is not how we ask for things here.
My sentence structure was an imperative command, entirely grammatically sound. The verb give was correctly placed. What is the issue?
Right? Whatever. And how many bags are you checking?
I have 3 baggages.
You mean 3 pieces of baggage?
No, 3 baggages. I counted them. 1, 2, 3. Therefore, it is plural and requires an S at the end. It is basic mathematics, human.
Nova, please, stop trying to logically debate the check-in agent. We're going to miss our flight.
Here are your boarding passes. Have a nice flight.
Seat 49E? Wait, this is a middle seat in the last row, right next to the biological waste disposal unit.
Yeah, the lavatory. You insulted her grammar and demanded a seat like a dictator. This is exactly what happens.
But my English was textbook. Direct communication is efficient. Why must Earthlings make everything so incredibly complicated and emotional?
Come on, let's board. Fair warning, though. The air gets a little hostile the closer you get to row 49.
Dave, the smell has already found me. It is assertive. I am reevaluating my entire understanding of consequences.
Here's the thing, Nova. In English, being grammatically correct doesn't mean you're being polite. Direct commands sound highly aggressive.
So, give me a window seat sounds like a physical threat rather than a standard business transaction.
Exactly. When speaking to service staff, native English speakers use softening phrases. These are specific structures we use to make a request sound like a gentle question, giving the other person the illusion of choice. The first major softening phrase you need to learn is, could I possibly... For example, instead of, give me water, you say, could I possibly get some water?
Fascinating. The word possibly adds a layer of artificial doubt. It implies that I recognize their immense power to say no. It strokes their human ego to prevent conflict.
I mean, I wouldn't phrase it quite like that, but yes. It shows respect for their time and effort.
So, applied to my previous check-in disaster, I should have approached the desk and said, could I possibly get a window seat?
Perfect. It sounds entirely different. You are no longer commanding them. You're politely inquiring if it's within their power to help you. Native English speakers naturally respond much better to this tone.
I am logging this into my memory banks. The empathy matrix is highly illogical, but undeniably effective. What is the next phrase?
The second phrase is even softer and more polite. Would it be too much trouble to, as in, would it be too much trouble to check another bag?
That is wildly inefficient. You are adding 9 extra words just to ask a basic question. It is a massive waste of oxygen.
Maybe, but acknowledging that you are causing them trouble makes them feel appreciated. It's an empathy bridge that makes them far more willing to help you out. The third phrase is my absolute favorite for travel. I was wondering if there are any window seats left.
Wait a moment. Was wondering. You are using the past continuous tense to ask for something right now in the present. Why?
It creates distance. Using the past tense makes the request feel less urgent and less demanding. It gives the staff member space to breathe and consider your request without pressure.
Let me synthesize this data. To avoid the lavatory seat, I must abandon efficiency for politeness. Could I possibly... Would it be too much trouble to, and I was wondering if... These softening phrases dismantle the human's defensive shields.
Exactly. You're starting to get it. But your aggressive demands were only half the problem back there at the check-in desk.
Ah, yes. My perfectly logical pluralization of the word baggages.
Right. Baggages is a huge red flag for native English speakers. You can never ever add an S to baggage or luggage. They are uncountable nouns.
This breaks the fundamental laws of physics, Dave. If I have 3 physical suitcases right in front of me, I can count them. Therefore, they are countable. English is malfunctioning.
I know it feels completely wrong, but English categorizes certain things as a whole mass, rather than individual items. Think of luggage like water. You wouldn't say I drank 3 waters unless you meant 3 bottles of water. Luggage is a category, a collective concept, not an individual item.
So native English speakers view all my distinct separate suitcases as one giant amorphous blob of cargo?
Exactly. The concept of your belongings traveling with you is the baggage. The physical boxes themselves need a different word.
In many standard Earth languages, like French or Spanish, luggage is easily countable, so it is entirely understandable why a non-native speaker would instinctively attempt to say luggages.
Absolutely. It's one of the most common traps. But saying luggages or baggages immediately highlights that you don't grasp the uncountable rule. It sounds very unnatural to our ears.
Then how do I quantify my blob of cargo? I must be able to specify the exact number.
To count an uncountable noun, we have to use measure words. For luggage, the magic phrase is pieces of. So you have 3 pieces of luggage.
Ah, just like a slice of pizza or a glass of water. I must add a container or a unit to measure the mass. So I have 2 pieces of baggage.
Spot on. You can say pieces of luggage or pieces of baggage. Both are perfectly standard and completely grammatically correct. Alternatively, if you don't want to use measure words, you can just use a completely different word that actually is countable. Bag or suitcase. So instead of 3 pieces of luggage, just say 3 bags.
So the word bag takes an S, but the word baggage does not? That is wonderfully chaotic. I have 3 bags, or I have 3 pieces of baggage.
You got it. Just never combine them into baggages. It's a linguistic crime scene.
I am updating my memory banks. Rule 1. Softening phrases protect human egos. Rule 2. Luggage and baggage are uncountable mass nouns. Never add an S, use pieces of luggage, or simply say bags.
Look, we're approaching our gate. We have a layover here. Why don't you try to fix your seat assignment with the gate agent?
Challenge accepted. But first, viewers, it is time for your field training. Let us run a simulation before I engage the next human. Imagine you want to ask a flight attendant for an extra blanket. Your direct thought is, give me a blanket. How would you soften this using the phrase, wondering?
Take a second to think about it. Remember, we need to use the past continuous tense to create that polite distance.
Formulate your sentence now. The correct culturally optimized phrase is, I was wondering if I could get an extra blanket. Did you get it right?
That sounds incredibly polite. Anyone would be happy to help you if you asked like that.
Excellent. Next simulation. You are at a hotel. You want to tell the bellhop that you have 5 suitcases. Translate this thought into English using the word luggage. If you said I have 5 luggages, you have failed the mission and fallen into the uncountable trap. The correct phrasing is, I have 5 pieces of luggage. Or simply, I have 5 bags.
All right, training is over. The gate agent is right there. Remember everything we talked about. Be soft and watch your nouns.
Stand back, Dave. I am about to charm this earthling with absolute grammatical precision. Greetings, gate agent.
Hi there. How can I help you today?
I was wondering if it would be too much trouble to look at my seat assignment. I currently have a middle seat by the lavatory.
Oh, that's no fun at all. Let me see what I can do for you. Did you have any checked luggage you needed to track?
No, I just have these 2 small pieces of baggage with me.
Well, since you asked so nicely, I actually have an exit row window seat open. I'll just move you right up there, free of charge.
Dave, the empathy matrix functioned flawlessly. I utilized a past continuous softening phrase and the correct uncountable noun measure word, and the human rewarded me with premium atmosphere viewing. Go test the empathy matrix on a real human today. I'll be back later this week with more field research. Subscribe so you don't miss the debrief.